welcome, welcome. We are here with Sammy. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about juice fasting. Yeah.
Ooh.
Sammy, by the way, I didn't tell you, you look gorgeous. You look absolutely
Oh,
beautiful. Yes.
thank you.
Ab
Thank you.
yes. Yes. Very, very you shine. You shine and you have a different hairstyle. You have a like very
Yeah.
shiny skin.
Little,
Yeah.
little
And
like
me
you, little
too.
shave on the side. Yeah,
Look.
I love it. I was a little inspired by you. I'm like, if you can do it, I'm doing it too.
I
Yeah,
know. That's amazing.
yeah,
All
for
right.
real.
So today I invited Sammy to share, so she can share about her juice fasting experience and because it's very helpful for people to listen, to stories. We all love stories, and so it's
Mhm.
helpful for people to listen to somebody else's experience. So, Sammy did juice fasting like over a month ago, right?
Yeah, April 2nd to May 2nd. So it's been a month. Tomorrow will be a month.
Yeah, awesome. So, Sammy, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, how old are you? What do you do? And all kind of good stuff.
Okay, yeah. So I go by Sammy. My given full name is Samantha. I'm Lithuanian. Born and raised, I moved to the United States when I was 13. I'm 34 years old. I'm probably 115 pounds right now. my my shoe size is 8.5. Uh, what do I
Ooh,
do? A little more details. I do
mm,
have a job right now. I work in a stone and tile industry, doing all pretty things for interiors and exteriors homes. When I'm not working, right now it's almost summer in Chicago, so I spend a lot of time in nature. I learn to appreciate nature more and more as I'm learning and growing and changing and fasting and doing all kinds of ceremonies and circles and sound healings and plant medicine and breath works and this all what I'm naming. It's a new thing for me as I begun my spiritual awakening journey about 3.5 years ago, and particularly this last year has been really really cool. I've allowed myself so much more to experience new things like fasting, like allowing myself to go to gatherings where I don't know anyone besides maybe one person. Um, I love I love nature. I love water. I can't wait to swim. It's still a little bit chilly in Michigan.
mm-hmm.
I'm constantly working on myself. I'm constantly working on myself internally, and I'm doing this with a vision, with a purpose, because I do see myself in a near future working with people. I yet don't know how that will be, but I know um, I will be one of those people, and I should say I am. Believe in
Mm-hmm.
myself more, where like like yourself, Olga. You're guiding people, you're teaching, you're sharing your story, and so am I. And I really, that's the biggest gift, the biggest return when I see people getting inspired by me and saying like, wow, thank you, thank you for being so vulnerable, because vulnerability was, oh my gosh, no, no, can't, nobody can see me cry, nobody could see my fear or hear my shaky voice. I'm just gonna get it together by myself and and show up all, yes, I got this. I got nothing. The more I know, the more I know that I don't know nothing. So just
Mm-hmm.
a little intro.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. I love what you do actually, always following you and seeing like you're going to the nature. I always also very love nature so much. And
Mhm.
I can totally relate. I become like this one, with the nature, with the universe. And I think it's also part of our detoxing our soul, right? When we with juices, we detox our physical, biochemical and physical body, and with nature, we can detox our soul and our mind, right?
Yeah.
So that's awesome, beautiful. And so I met Sammy maybe like about 3 years ago, right? About that
Something like
time.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, we were both kind of came from the same recovering community and also for personal development. So, and I've seen Sammy doing already like a lot of great things. And um, so then Sammy reached out to me one day about the juicing. And she said that I bought a juicer and I'm about to start juicing. And then I started seeing like all the posts. So tell us what brought you to that point?
Mm, awesome question. Well, thank you for being inspiration. Inspiration as you are, pretty petite, muscular, beautiful woman, not obese or sick or anything. I was like, why would you juice? You're just like glowing, and it's because of that you are, where you are physically, and a lot of the emotional consciousness is the healing of
Mhm.
juicing, right? So let's see. If I'm honest, I've been thinking about juicing for several years, and
Mm,
one of the mistaken beliefs were that juicing is it's too expensive, it's too much work, and neither one I can allow myself, right? But then, as I'm changing and growing, and again allowing myself to have different experiences and really dedicating my life to my healing, I said, you know what, this sounds like something I want to do. But first, let me get a juicer and just start drinking juice daily. Just maybe one glass in the morning. And that's what I did. I gave myself a gift, a New Year gift in January. I bought a juicer that I could afford, and I started juicing. And I juiced for 3 months every single day, drinking a glass of juice in the morning, replacing my breakfast. And I'm pretty consistent eater. I pick things that I like to eat. For example, for breakfast, I always had oats, butter, blueberries, some raspberries on, and that just fills me up, gives me the energy now that I want, and I go. And then I started replacing that with the juice every morning. And I think I was in my third week where I started feeling
mm,
things inside. I started having a lot of mucus come out. I started feeling some uncomfort, even pain in my colon area. And that's when I texted you. I'm like, Olga, something is going on. Is this normal? You're like, you're fine. This is what juicing does. And on that third week, on that uncomfort, and going, still drinking the juice in the fear and having your information that this is what juicing does, meaning it is cleaning you. It is actually
mhm,
this is good what's happening to you. And I was like, oh my gosh, it works. It works. And I'm only doing one glass a day. That's all. Sometimes I would do in the afternoon if I'm not too hungry, I would replace my dinner. And then I decided, I'm gonna jump in this thing. Like 30 days. Wow. Can I imagine what will go on with me in the 30 days? And my biggest motivator was to deepen my consciousness, my connection with a higher power, universe, God, source, whatever that is. I do believe that, something above is watching over me.
mhm,
So that was my one of the bigger motivators to do it. And as I was drinking the juice just for those 3 weeks, I already felt something expanding, like the colors would be brighter. I started feeling some expansion, like awakening within my head, my eyes,
mhm,
and clearing up. And it was just such a cool wow experience that juices, fruits and vegetable can actually do that. And I
mhm,
was just so stoked to feel what would I feel like, what would happen. I was really interested in this whole experience of not eating for 30 days and drinking juice. So I was fully in when I
mm.
started feeling
That's
the effect.
amazing. That's amazing. As Sammy said that even one juice a day, which I always talk about, to people, just substitute just one meal. with one juice a day, you're gonna have enough calories to not be hungry until lunchtime, and it will give you all the energy, all the vitamins, all the minerals that you need, and you give this goodness to your body. And so what happened as you hear, the mucus start coming out, and what start happening is real detox. And so it's amazing how you jumped in, which I love, because a lot of people, they wait and they kind of question themselves because of limiting beliefs that it's not gonna work, or it's too much work. I don't like fruits and vegetables. I don't like to cut them. I don't like to prepare them. Um, how did you deal with that, like negative self-talk?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, was it? Well, it was a lot of it, and much more came up as I started walked into fasting, and I really quickly wanted to mention, before beginning drinking juice, I also always thought that people who juice are either they're very ill, they must be really obese, or they're just some health freaks. Why would you juice if you're young, if you're skinny, and if you're healthy? Like you're gonna starve yourself. That's just doesn't make sense to me. And I was how long? I think I was within my first week and a half when my brain started spinning. And it was a day when the story was that if you continue, you're gonna get sick. You're gonna have to be hospitalized. You're gonna have to actually spend money and go to a hospital to recover now from what you're doing, like you're ruining your health. So that was the story, and I knew what to do. I had you and Sasha, and I reached out because I knew I'm in this with a purpose, and I have the community, and that's why the group chat is for us in moments like this. Because in that moment I was like, I'm going to do 2 weeks, I'm going to pull it together, maybe just make it to 2 weeks, and then I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew I was in trouble if I listened to it, if I entertained those thoughts. So that was a big one. And then some other limiting thoughts, feeling self-pity, like, man, like the forever story, like, I'm never gonna eat. When will I eat? This will never, like, I know it will end. It's 30 days period, but in those moments, it's like, for some reason the days will just stop. Life will, like, it's gonna stop on April 15th and will never pass. It's just nonsense, just like all kind of crap that you could think of.
Mm-hmm.
um
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, so the self-pity song, and the story of, I'm ruining my health. And
Mm-hmm.
you mentioned one thing to not share with people as I'm doing this, and I see now why, because I did share with few and I didn't like what I hear back, and that just triggered me. So it makes a lot of sense just to keep it within the community that I'm doing it with. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. That's a very good point because, okay, so just to remind everybody, Sammy did 30 days of juice fasting, and she's talking about her experience. And one of the facts that we mentioned in the group, not to share with uh, others, unless it's a close family members that you can't really go without sharing, right? And the reason being is that because sometimes people give bad advice, sometimes people react negatively, and that will be fine, but you lose a lot of energy explaining yourself. Well, once you already don't, you doing it by yourself, like, with, of course, with a group of people, but it's like, explaining over and over again, and you see the wall, right? That people don't
Yeah.
understand. It's really hard to lose that, sense, right? And
Yeah.
how did you deal with that when you had that moment when people asked you or gave some comments?
People noticed at work because instead of lunch, I would have my jars and I would have them on my desk, and I would just sip throughout the day. And, days go by, weeks go by, and Sammy's like, not. I take my lunch, but I they see me drinking my juice, and they're like, what's up with the juice? What are you drinking there? Is it pickle juice? I would use like sauerkraut jars and pickle jars at the beginning. And I said, yeah, I'm actually on this wonderful journey of 30-day fasting. And, some of them be like, why? Like, you're so skinny. The first thing is like, you're so skinny, you're going to lose weight. And some of them be like, wow, that's pretty cool. But, with the negative thought, like the kind of like, oh my God, why you're poor thing. I would say, I'm doing this with a purpose. I'm doing this for health. And I'm doing this mainly to expand my consciousness because I too had fear of losing weight. And you said, of course, I will shed some pounds. It's just inevitable. But what's going to fall off of me is actually the waste, all the toxins and like literally, waste of
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
with deep in a colon. So just few things when I say, I'm doing this with a purpose to expand my consciousness, to connect more with a higher power, which whatever, whoever thought whatever, but
Mm-hmm.
people don't really question anymore once I say my intentions and why I'm doing it for, and they
Mm-hmm.
kind of leave me
Mm-hmm.
alone. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, and a lot of the times, when I've had experience with other people, I also recommend if it gets into like discussion, I always recommend to watch Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead movie for the
Mm-hmm.
people that questioning you, right? And of course, uh, you already had a normal weight, and so yes, it's true that a lot of people want to lose some weight. But for me personally, I also did a 45-day juice fasting 22 years ago when I was extremely sick. And you weren't sick, but first of all, you did it for, connect to your higher power, to your spirit, enhance your spirituality. And also, you did it as a prevention because a lot of people don't talk about that. They
Mm-hmm.
only see you as a healthy individual and you're okay, and all they see is, oh my God, you're gonna lose weight. But it's preventative. This is like it added like 5 years of life to your life, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Did you have a hear about anima? Yeah. Here we're gonna talk about anima.
Okay, let's talk about anima.
Yes.
uh, that was the biggest fear probably of mine when I found out that I must, or suggested to do enema every morning. I was like, oh my gosh. And the biggest fear before I saw the video that you made, which was cleared everything, I
Mhm.
thought, it's gonna be a messy process. I'm gonna be covered all over in poop. I don't have the time in the morning. Like, how is this gonna help me? I was afraid of the mess. Like, I just thought it's gonna be a fountain of diarrhea on the walls, which was
Yeah, yeah.
very far
Fun.
away from the truth. And like, I couldn't believe that I might even enjoy the
Mhm.
process and enjoy the feeling after it. And drinking broth at night and enema in the morning were my two favorite things of fasting because of the feeling. It's just like, thank you,
Mhm.
I can breathe. The lightness, just like, oh, beautiful, beautiful
Mhm.
experience.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, so we also highly recommend to do enema. Some people do it once, even twice a day. And actually, if you have like some emotional roller coaster during the day, we recommend just go and do the enema. Go for a walk, or if you still feel like headache or lightheadedness, that means it's just toxins of flushing through our body, through our brain, and so it's really good. So that's awesome. So how about um, let's talk about the preparation of juices and how long did it take for you? Like, what was the process?
Okay, so At the beginning of my juicing, I went fancy, I bought all very fancy, vegetables, fruits that I don't really eat, but I thought I gotta go big, it's just like all or nothing, perfectionism kind of kicked in. And I remember I spent way more money than I usually would. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be way too expensive. Um, so that went on probably for the first 2 weeks, 2.5, until I realized, okay, I don't need to have like 7 to 9 different, fruits and vegetables in my juice. It could just be simple, 3 to 4 ingredients. And that's what actually I did when I just drank juice before fasting. And I
Mhm.
decided that fasting has to be some kind of like shebang, big thing. And it was hurting me financially. And I realized I don't need to do it. So I would wake up in the morning and do the juice in the morning, peel, slice, juice, clean up, drink the juice in the morning, get my juice for work. And then I realized, okay, it's well, the time wise it would be about 30 to 40 minutes. And depending, I guess, on what juicer you have, mine is a bit more on a simpler side, but half an hour is a good amount of time. And then I switched to drinking or making the juice at night. So I would prepare, put it in a jar, and when I wake up, I would drink it in the morning. And I found that to be more sufficient with the time, so
Mhm.
that in the morning I don't need to rush. And sometimes when I'm late, I'm just kind of like messy, or I would never leave my juicer unwashed, because that's very important to wash. So I like to, from the beginning to an end. So that was my process, first in the morning, and then I would just make my juice at night. Yeah.
Mhm. Awesome. Did you make the juice for the full day, or did you make it for 2 days?
I would make it for full one day. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. Cool.
Mhm.
And do you have a favorite juice?
Oh my gosh, so many. I like all the juices that include ginger,
Mhm.
pineapple.
Mhm.
For a while, I was really into grapefruit and grapes.
Mhm.
Just those two ingredients. It was sweet, and I think the glucose, the sugar was just like really like the energy was
Yeah.
up. It was really
Mhm.
cool. And I really
Mhm.
enjoyed some of your juices that you recommended, like the glowing skin, and then the green goddess. I think one of, if I'm saying
Mhm.
correctly.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, those few
Mhm.
ingredients, big ones.
That that's awesome. Awesome. And I always tell people that you can't go wrong with juices. Yes, you can. Like you said, few ingredients is absolutely fine. You can even drink mono juice, that just carrot, or
Yeah.
just apple. And one of the trick that I learned over the years by juicing is, if I crave something at night, like when you sit down and after hours, after work, I make
Mhm.
nice sweet juice for myself, like for cravings, right? Have you had
Mhm.
that experience?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I would definitely reach for juice when I'm craving something, or just the liquid, or the herbal tea, or maybe just chug a lot of water. And that's bringing me back to the realization as I was fasting that, hunger is mainly a thought. How wild is that? Like, really? It's not really the body that wants it. And I see today, now that I'm off fasting, that no, if I just stop for a moment and ask my body, like, just tune in. My body is full. My stomach isn't growling. I'm not hungry. It's the mind. It's looking for some clinginess. Like, it could be food or could be something else. But if we're talking about food, the wildest realization I had is like, oh my gosh, if I think about food, I'll be hungry. And in the moments when I was, let's say, feeling some hunger during fasting, all I need to do is just drink some liquid and it's gone, or get busy with something else. Like, the awareness I developed on fasting is that I don't need to entertain that thought and like, oh my God, I can't wait home to have a bite. No, the juice is always next to me, the water is always next to me, and that's all it takes. And so,
Mhm.
today is a bit more challenging because now I'm free to eat. So
Mhm.
not always do I reach just for juice. I might. go to another snack. But whatever I do, just be kind to myself. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And especially right now, your body is refeeding itself. So you're probably more hungry than you thought you would be, and that's absolutely fine. So I experience the same thing when I come out of fasting. I want to grab everything, you know. But over the period of years and years and years, I understood now, like that. I'm not gonna die. Like I'm not gonna go hungry. Somehow my brain is just telling me if you're not gonna eat this right now, you're gonna die. And yeah, it just takes a lot of consciousness and really like breathing and prayer, meditation. So my next question to you, in the program we highly recommend to meditate, to pray, connect to your higher self, to your higher power, do stretching, just like take a time for yourself. How were you able to do this um in this journey?
Hmm. Well, praying and meditation is in my life for quite some time. So with fasting, that just really deepened. And I wrote, I know, a beautiful check-in one of the mornings in our group chat, and I won't be able to repeat it, but I had some beautiful moments. And praying for me is very important. That's how I start my day. It's like I make my bed and I make my day with the prayer. Like I might not, have a breakfast like right now that I'm out of juice, but I will never leave my home without a prayer. And meditation is not as consistent, but I definitely meditate several mornings a week. And so on fasting, some of the beautiful moments I had is, when saying the words, the prayers, and I pray, I have few prayers that I repeat that I have memorized, but a lot of time I just speak, I have a conversation with my higher power. It's like we have this relationship. And the sensations I've experienced through my body, it was just something else. The energy, just warmth through the hands and my chest and all the way to the legs. And particularly this one afternoon, I came home after work and I was walking my dog by the lake here in Chicago. And you know I had this desire to sit down and then to lay down on the ground. And as I lay down, I just felt, so I sunk in into the grass and I literally closed my eyes and I had these visuals as if the the earth, the ground was just surrounding me with these sort of plants, that just all over me. And something my dog did that never does. He was a bit away just doing his dog things. And as I was laying and just really deep breathing deeply and just having these visuals, just feeling so loved, so nurtured, like in this moment, it's like, holy cow, this is so amazing. So I was laying, he steps right next to my shoulder, and I could just see his chin, he held his body over my head, and I was like, he's holding space for me. Like he must be feeling, this
Oh,
intensity. And it was just such a magical experience. And feeling supported by my dog and loved
yeah.
by universe. It was like, yeah, it was just something else. Beautiful.
Wow, wow, that's
Mhm.
amazing.
Yeah.
And fasting is just, when I describe to people that, I describe to people that like fasting in three phases. In the beginning, is just like adjusting, and then the second phase is you started feeling better, after adjustment, and the third phase is you like really go to the next dimension.
Mm.
You really start feeling the nature and surroundings, and if you let it be, because sometimes people not understand fully what's happening to them, but it's basically we are connecting to the universe, we are becoming this one entity, and um you see the whole world in a totally different light. And so that's why it's so highly recommended to continue this journey, to connect with God. And since your goal was to clear your consciousness and to connect to your higher self. Um, did tell us more a little bit about how it continued after the fasting, like during the fasting and after the fasting, maybe with your mom, maybe with your loved ones around you. Um, something happened.
Mm-hmm. One thing I also want to mention is that memory. I noticed, well, when I was on fasting, the memory sharpened, and it was such a cool experience. Is that I do read. I read books. I listen to a lot of inspirational talks and audiobooks and all kinds of things. And one of the things I noticed, that the information was just sinking in. It's like I was adapting information and holding it in. I was like, holy cow, I could actually recall what I listened for an hour. It wasn't just for
Mm,
that moment I listened and then it's gone, but it would stay with me. It's like I accumulate this information, I receive it on a different level. So it was so cool. And I think
wow.
that is still continuing. That is still continuing
Mhm.
because I'm drinking juice, and I will be drinking juice. And this is something I want to do annually. I definitely know I want to do, at least for now, for the first year, for the 2 years, whatever, every 6 months. So the next round for me would be October, I think. So I
Mhm.
want to do
Mhm.
30 days again. And then you asked, the juicing, did it continue? As I was juicing, my mother was one of the first people that noticed, and that I will be going to fasting, I said to her, and then she was all for it. She was, one of my biggest supporters. And she bought the same juicer that I have, and she began juicing, and she's still juicing to this day. It's been, I don't know, 3 to 4 months for her now. She's not yet fasting, but I'm sure that's her next level. And it was so cool to see her, getting inspired, and her getting healthier, and choosing the foods that I eat. I am now trying a lot of the vegan foods and saying no to many things that, just clogging my mechanism. And as I started posting, and I still post about juicing, a lot of people like, whoa, what is, tell me more about juicing, tell me your recipes, like what kind of juicer is that, just all these questions. And I thought, wow, people do want, and do
Mhm.
want to do things, but until perhaps they see somebody they know who's doing that, they would never think about it. Just like I saw you, I'm like, I know you, like you're juicing, like I can do it too. Like I could, see all the juicer, the Instagrammers who, like, that's their lifestyle, and I might not really relate to them because I don't know them on a personal level. So that's the reason why I share my juicing, and I share my personal journey and recovery and relationships, is
Mhm.
because people's stories, like you say, it matters a lot. And if people were not sharing their stories vulnerably, I wouldn't be where I am. So I really appreciate those who share what they do in life, whatever that would be.
Mhm. That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah. And like I said before, if you that both of us, Sammy and I, we're both in recovery, and if you don't mind, even thinking where you were 4 years ago or how long ago, and what kind of lifestyle you
Mhm.
had before, and what kind of lifestyle you have now.
Oh my
Um,
God. Mhm. Yeah, so I've been sober for 3 years. This month, May, marks 3 years for me. And that's really because of higher power and people. And I connect to my higher power through people. I can pray, that's very important, but if I'm alone and on my own, I will not hear the messages. I will not hear the words that, my higher power is sending me through the people. So 3.5 years ago, I was still drinking and partying, is when I started to think, I can't live like this any longer. I was miserable. And not to get into the whole story, I drank heavily for 16 years. Like I drank alcohol, I smoked cigarettes, then I started doing a lot of cocaine. And everything started with the drink. Until I drink, I don't want to smoke, or not, I don't want to snort cocaine. But until I drink, all the bad decisions,
Yeah.
bad, everything that I tragedies, jails and car accidents, and never hurt myself, luckily physically injured, but parasites and diarrheas and being sick and vomiting, and the biggest was I just hated who I was, and I couldn't understand what's going on. I just didn't realize that alcohol had such a big influence on my decision making, on my thinking, and my actions, on my relationships, on my jobs. Like I wasn't employable. I wasn't, romantically, I was that crazy girlfriend, like that psychotic freaking girl that I would always kind of make fun of others, like, oh, look at, well, that was totally me. Just not being able to see myself in any way, and just constantly feeling like um I'm a poor thing. I drink because my life was hard, my childhood was hard. So, and I always ran from opportunities. I remember when I started kind of digging in and looking into books, and then therapy, and then self development events, and then eventually coaching. For the long time, these people that had what I wanted, they actually triggered me. And I would just be like, oh, too much light. Let me go back to my cave. They were too much for me. It's like they looked at me and they saw right through me, like they could see my secrets. And they probably couldn't, which is okay. When you start getting to know yourself, you kind of see other people. And that's what I'm experiencing now,
Yeah.
growing, and I could see people, and all I want to do is love them. You're hurting, and that's okay. I see you and I
Mhm.
want to help you.
Mhm.
Um, a very different lifestyle. And when I look at the pictures, and I like posting, because I do announce my anniversary just to compare, the old me and
Mhm.
how I look now. It's
Mm.
just like, man, was that really me? But instead of like judging that younger version of myself now, I look at her and I say, I see you. I see you. I'm so proud of you. You made it.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
with every year of sobriety, of growth, of new experiences, I feel like I'm just getting started. Like I'm just getting started. And looking at my past as a reminder, I need that. I need to remind myself, even if it's just annually announcing, my sobriety, and doing it because of the inspiration. I'm not doing like, wow, look at me, look at,
Yeah.
no, it's for others, because I know how important that is to share
Mhm.
the story. Um, I think I lost my train of thought, what I wanted to. Oh, I said I want to remind myself, because if I stop doing what I'm doing, there's a chance that I may fall, and I will fall into my old habits quite quickly.
Mhm.
And, that leads to one thing, and next thing I know, I might, feel like drink is not a bad idea,
Mhm.
and I don't know what will happen, I'm just that kind of a drinker. When I went out, I never know if I'm going to be back at 1 a.m. or 7 a.m. or in next day sometime. It was never predictable. And it comes to a point where, my 20s were all about that, just doing whatever and ending up whatever, sleeping with whoever. And yeah, and I couldn't take it physically and emotionally. So glad I woke up.
Yeah, yes. Thank you for sharing, Sammy, so much because I see you, you post in your post like how you used to be, and I'm like, ooh, party girl, right? And like, and so I'm thinking too about myself, how many toxins we accumulated over years, like alcohol, cigarettes, nicotine, junk food, all this stuff, And maybe if somebody listening to us can relate to that, somebody just say, oh my God, I used to do that. And I used to party and I used to smoke and drink and use all kind of drugs. And it's possible to undo this. It's possible to cleanse yourself And, on all levels, starting with quitting drinking, quitting smoking, and looking for something better in life. And if you haven't had a problem like this, there are other addictions like sugar and salt and chips and junk food and all the other stuff. Plus, there are addictions like shopping and sex addiction. I mean, there's so many. And it's a bold statement, but a lot of people, including myself, including Sasha, my partner, we've been doing it for many years. When you fast, everything dims out. The light like constant, like needing to do something, like grabbing something, it calms down. Just you don't want to run somewhere and do something crazy. You just like focus. And the more times you do fasting, it's like your body and your mind already know, oh, we're going into fasting, okay, cool. And it's like you're
Mhm.
switching.
Nice.
And yeah, it is. It's incredible. The day that you tell yourself, I'm going into fasting, your body's like, really? Okay, fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I mean, it saved my life too. It saved like all these programs, right? Like all these, I'm so blessed with all these programs that universe gave us, because
Mhm.
it's just a miracle. I wanted to ask you about water. So you actually switched to miracle water that
Mhm.
you've been posting on Instagram, and I'm really curious and I'm very interested too. So that's something, because actually I started seeing other ladies on Instagram that actually selling the those this product. But why I wanted to talk about this, because we heal ourselves on several levels, right? We heal ourselves on physical level when we cleanse ourselves from all the toxins, with food, with um, exercise, with prayer, meditation, all the spiritual level. But water is essential for our healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so Sammy, tell us more about the water, please.
Yeah. Wow. Thanks for asking that. I started drinking the water and fasting pretty much at the same time because by the time my device arrived, which was actually a medical device, the machine arrived, I started doing both. And I heard about this water actually just earlier this year. And when some information reaches me at a certain time, like water did, like fasting did, like coaching did, like sobriety did, I know it's my time. And so, people who drink this water, they share their stories, like I said, like you and I doing now. And when I listen to them, it's like, holy cow, it's not bull crap. It's real stuff. And so the first thing I did, I started, of course, listening to the stories and just really looking, listening, watching some video demos, reading about what this water is, where does it come from, why is it called miracle, and like why don't we know about it? Like here in states, particularly. So this water has been around for like what 49, 50 years.
Mm,
Um, they create these miracle machines in Japan, and I started learning about the difference between all the waters that we drink, the tap water, bottled waters, filtered waters, alkaline waters. And the more I read, the more I watched, I realized that this water industry is gazillion. It's probably more than alcohol and drugs combined together. I'm like, what the heck? It doesn't make sense. Like, why are we buying water and there's different brands of water, different prices and bottles? And what is that we're drinking, And I've never paid attention to like bottled waters, what the ingredients. And if you actually look, a lot of these fancy waters that claim to be the best, they have stuff that we don't need to drink. And so when I started to read about this water, which is called Kangen water, which Kangen really means return to origin. Um, the the benefits of it, what it does to the body, and that the water is not just for drinking, but there is actually 50 plus uses of the water. So when you get that machine, it's a lifetime investment. So you have the drinking water, you have the beauty water, which is for your face, for mouthwash. You have the strong acidic water, which is for cleaning. So you'll never buy water again. You never buy beauty products basically if you don't you just using the beauty water. You'll never buy cleaning products, laundry detergent or mouthwash, or even things like wounds, burns, for the skin. So I was like, holy cow, this is amazing. Um, and as I'm listening and reading, I said that this this is for me. I feel it. I see it. I feel it. So it's speaking to me, and I made the investment, and bought the water. And to buy it, it's more like a community thing. I'm sure there are models, duplicates out there that you could buy online and just ship it to yourself. But particularly this brand, Enagic, um, this is the one that um, provides them or fabricates them in
Mhm.
Japan. So
Mhm.
it's through people, and that's why you see other people sharing it, and I share it
Mm.
too. And
Mhm.
it could become a business opportunity if somebody wants to take it seriously. But if anything, I share it because it is working for me. And again,
Mhm.
it's something that I will make in the future, some videos on just how I feel on it. The
Mhm.
hydration on like the cellular level. And how I look at it, air and water are these two constant consumptions that we do. And
Mhm.
there's a long story about the water that we drink and why it's bottled and this and that. But if you just dig in and learn around, you'll find a lot of information that is kind of mind-boggling.
Mhm.
But
No, that's really good because I want people that see this video. I want to remind everybody that it's important to drink clean water. If you're interested, you can also read about this, reach out to Sammy. Maybe you can, look at the videos and see if it's good for you, But the bottom line, why am I asking about this in the first place? Because we always need to drink clean water for detoxification, for constant like flushing and flushing and flushing our toxins with water that doesn't have toxins, the clean water. Yeah,
yeah.
and the beauty of it, you know what got me? The beauty of it that you were washing fruits and on
Mhm.
highly acidic water, and you showed how many toxins, how many chemicals there are. I'm like,
Mhm.
holy shit, wow.
That's wild, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome. Okay, so before we end, I would like to ask you, so if somebody asks, if somebody thinking maybe I should do juice fasting, maybe I'm too skinny, I don't need to do it, or they just thinking about, what would you say to them?
What are you thinking about? What fears are you believing in? Go for it. The fact that you're thinking about it, it's a sign that your lower self, your ego is predicting that you're about to do something good for yourself. And that happens to me a lot. The self-sabotage kicks in because my body feels that something is good coming, but mine is always preventing us from taking anything that's good for us. So of course, the first the first thing we're gonna do is like, well, let me figure this out. Is this good for me? But that should be a sign. So all I have to tell you is this is every single human being should do this. Like we shall experience the power of nature through juicing.
Mhm.
Simple. this
Yeah.
is this is a must, and it's for the body, for the physical
Mm.
form, and it's for the consciousness, because I know that I am a stream of consciousness, having a human experience, not the other way around. I'm not a human being having a spiritual experience. It's where
Mhm.
this is my suit. My body is my suit for me to have this human experience and this dimensional level on earth. So for me to tap into higher in that more self, the inner self, juicing anything natural, water,
Mhm.
that's
Mhm.
how I come back home. So
Yeah.
I I hope you will.
And plus it's delicious, right?
It's delicious. Only how. Yeah. I
It's
never knew, like watching the movie, like Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, like people make faces. I'm like, are you kidding me? That's juice. That's sweet. That's delicious. Like, what is up?
I know. Every time I give somebody try the juice, most of the time people like, "Oh, that's not bad. That's good. That's good. I can do this."
Well, like, can you imagine just the comment? That's not bad. That already tells me like how much brainwashing has gone into to make us
Yeah.
believe that juices are disgusting, like fruits and vegetables
Mhm.
are yucky. Like that is such a
Yeah.
systematic crap.
Mhm.
So don't buy into it.
Absolutely. I know. I know. I'm gonna tell you how you develop, during the juice fasting, a lot of people develop the boundaries between what we truly believe and what society tells us we should believe. And it's a constant like work in progress, right? Somebody says, what are you doing? You're not doing it right. Something is wrong with you. You're battling with those thoughts and like trying to convince them that it's not right, convince yourself. And the short story, when I was traveling from Dominican Republic, and I was on the island for 10 days, and there was no junk food or no McDonald's, or like constant like pushing, buy me, buy me, buy me. So when I
Mm-hmm.
traveled and I went into Miami through the airport, and as soon as I walked out of the plane, that smell that is like, I honestly, I think the advertisement smelled. It's like hitting me. I'm like, oh, where am I? I'm like, and that moment I realized how hard we need to work in order
Mm-hmm.
to push that away and like stay to our true self, stay to our consciousness. Because honestly, Sammy, until I've been doing this for 22 years, and every time I go to the airport, I want to eat something bad,
Mm-hmm.
every single time. And
They
if I
get
don't
you.
have, yeah, and if I don't have a juice or full bags of apples or like oranges, I'm gonna eat something.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's so good
yeah.
to awaken from that, and juicing does that to you. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
like I said before we started, once I see, I can't unseen. Like I could pretend like I don't hear, the new me, but it's too difficult now to go back to the old ways rather than just stay on track. That's just how I feel. It takes more
Mm-hmm.
energy to try to resist.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yeah,
surrender to
yeah,
your needs. Yeah.
yeah. Well, that's amazing. Thank you so much, Sammy. We had a wonderful conversation,
Mhm.
and all the beautiful people. I think you see now that it's possible, absolutely possible. If Sammy could do it, I could do it. Many, many other people could do it, and you can do it
You
for
can do
sure. Yes, you can do it
it.
as a prevention, as a weight loss, as a skin clear, just consciousness, beautiful consciousness of your mind. And uh, we didn't even talk about a lot of the diseases that goes away. People been using juice fasting as actual healing, healing without chemicals, medication chemicals. And so if you thinking about this journey, just come and join our community. It's beautiful. There are a lot of people, more people than you think, that are doing this right now, which makes me really, really happy.
Yeah.
And yeah, so thank you so much, Sammy.
Thank
And
you.
I hope, yeah, we'll meet you. We'll see you, follow you in October when you're going to be doing another 30 days.
Yeah. I'll be
Yeah.
back for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you
Awesome.
also for doing what you do. Thank you for being, the inspiration and the leader of juicing. You go, girl.
Thank you. Thank you. Yay.